That decision wasn't simply an investment. It was an act of faith in the ingenuity and spirit of this nation.
A cold chill swept through Kensington Palace the moment Prince William stepped forward, speaking in a heavy tone Britain hadn't heard in years. It was measured, serious, and absolutely final. His sudden announcement about Meghan Markle wasn't just unexpected. It carried a heavy weight that instantly tightened the atmosphere across the royal circle, making top advisers pause mid-stride. Journalists scrambled for clarity, while even veteran royal insiders admitted they had never seen William look this completely resolute. But what pushed him to make such a harsh declaration? And why is it far worse than anyone imagined? This is William's ultimate royal warning. For the very first time in modern royal history, the future king has openly severed ties with a family member who still holds official royal titles. But the true power of William's statement wasn't just in his words, it was how he delivered them. His tone was quiet, steady, and ice-cold, with absolutely no leaked memos. There were no whispers from sources close to the royal family. This was William himself stepping forward after King Charles handed him and Catherine total control over the palace's crisis communications. Royal insiders say that crucial moment marked the absolute start of a new era. With King Charles dealing with major health challenges and public faith in the old palace methods, sliding this shift was not just symbolic. It was highly strategic. It was about survival. Just 2 nights before William's big declaration, King Charles signed a private order at Clarence House. Royal aides quietly called it the Autumn Mandate. According to this new directive, Catherine, the beloved Princess of Wales, would have full authority to manage the fallout from Meghan Markle's renewed mentions in those controversial Epstein discussions, those leaked letters and the rising hostility from the American media. But that same order also gave William a fresh role. He would be the primary voice, the one to speak whenever the monarchy needed strength, certainty, and a clear message. And on that cold, grey October morning, William delivered exactly that message. Within hours of William's sharp statement, which aimed to protect the brightest and boldest, across all sectors of society a counterattack began. Meghan's familiar media machine quickly lit up in California, pushing dramatic claims of royal bullying, emotional pressure, favouritism toward Catherine, and unfair treatment by King Charles. But after 5 long years of refusing to answer Meghan's constant public attacks, William did something absolutely no one expected. He responded directly, formally, and with devastating clarity. Standing before a small group of reporters in the picture gallery, William said, "No member of this family has ever bullied Mrs. Markle, and absolutely no one has favoured my wife at her expense. What has happened is the direct result of her own choices, her personal actions, and her repeated attempts to damage the integrity of this historic institution." Then he went even further, utterly shocking even the most seasoned palace journalists. "We have clear evidence of deliberate media manipulation, including paid placements aimed at harming my wife's reputation. These were not misunderstandings, they were entirely intentional." Multiple sources later confirmed that Prince William was referring to a series of paid PR pieces Meghan commissioned in late 2024. Articles suggested Catherine used her popularity as a weapon and that King Charles felt threatened by Meghan's global fame. However, those media outlets have since quietly removed the stories. William also revealed a shocking detail the public had never heard before. Meghan had secretly been working directly with Sarah Ferguson. Meghan used Fergie's old resentment toward the monarchy to apply heavy pressure on Catherine during the toughest period of her cancer recovery in 2024. He referenced the current space race, noting how we see everyone trying to get this high-priced space tourism going. He emphasized that any attempts to create deep divisions in this family are completely unacceptable, and attempts to use vulnerable members against others are absolutely intolerable. Later, a royal aide explained that Fergie had been emotionally fragile and easily influenced at the time, but William's message was unmistakable. Meghan wasn't just criticising the British monarchy, she was building alliances. Then William invoked a name no one expected Prince Andrew, stating that transparency is not optional, but absolutely required. We applied that exact standard to the Duke of York, and we will apply the same standard to Mrs. Markle. For a future king to place Meghan in the very same sentence as Andrew, the most disgraced senior royal in modern history, was a highly deliberate statement. The monarchy would protect no one, not even an in-law, who still enjoys royal titles. But the shocking moment that completely froze the entire room was William's final comment about his brother. "I will not answer any media inquiries about the Duke of Sussex, nor will I acknowledge or respond to Hollywood commentary about him. Future engagement with him will not take place through any public channels." William was completely done defending, done explaining, and done waiting. Then came the line that shattered whatever was left of their brotherly bond. The crown cannot be dragged into every storm created outside its walls. This was a firm reminder of the boundaries he was setting to protect his family from public chaos. This was a direct reference to Harry and Meghan's live-streamed complaints, public accusations, and dramatic Hollywood storytelling. In a stunning break from royal protocol, William spoke directly about both Archie and Lilibet. They are completely innocent. They deserve stability, dignity, and a childhood free from public conflict. If protecting them requires intervention, this institution will not hesitate. Senior aides were quick to clarify this was not a custody threat, but a strict warning. The monarchy would not allow the children to be used as simple tools for media attention. Privately, someone close to William said he was truly heartbroken for them. They are growing up inside a noise chamber created by their parents. Within hours, #StandWithWilliam was trending across the United Kingdom, while American talk shows erupted in anger. Polls showed 72% of the British public supported William's stance. Support for Harry and Meghan plunged to 18%, their lowest since 2020. But inside Buckingham Palace there was no celebration. Instead there was quiet determination, and this was only the very beginning. Exactly 2 weeks before William's public statement during a highly secret meeting at Windsor Castle with 8 of the palace's most trusted advisers, William delivered the exact sentence that set everything in motion. "We can no longer remain passive in the face of deliberate sabotage." So what devastating consequences did Prince William's announcement actually carry? Let's find out. The royal break fallout was massive. It was the first time since the historic abdication crisis of 1936 that the royal communications team had to activate their most serious full separation plan against a living member of the House of Windsor. The spark for all of this came when a batch of newly leaked private messages from Meghan, allegedly written between 2021 and early 2023, suddenly appeared online in late September 2025. According to palace officials, these documents did not just complain about King Charles being emotionally cold and distant during Meghan's pregnancies. They went even further, accusing him of intentionally boosting Catherine's public image, while actively pushing Meghan far into the background. Worse still, the leaked files suggested Meghan reached out to 2 media advisors in the United States who had direct ties to Netflix. One leaked message shockingly read, "If Charles will not protect me, then the story will protect me." Within just 24 hours of that massive leak, she spoke out, claiming she had to make a personal choice to move through the world as herself, despite all the constant noise being created. Senior palace officials led by Lady Fiona Walsingham, the deputy head of sovereign affairs, met with lawyers and former MI5 risk analysts. Their conclusion was incredibly blunt. Meghan was no longer just some rebellious duchess. She was now officially considered a communication threat to the crown. On October 9th, 2025, King Charles, already struggling with his failing health and plunging approval ratings after Prince Andrew's housing scandal, quietly made one of the most massive internal shake-ups since his coronation. In a sealed royal order known as Memo 2485, Charles handed absolute control of all public crisis management over to the Prince and Princess of Wales. This crucial decision meant 2 major things. William would now become the sole royal voice permitted to speak publicly about anything involving the Sussexes. Catherine would take complete charge of shaping the narrative and managing the media, and controlling exactly how the royal family's public image would be presented in the future. One insider described this moment as Charles's last real chance to start fresh, showing that the palace wanted to stop reacting to crises and start controlling the story. A former royal communications chief explained the situation quite simply. William is not just fixing a temporary problem, he is drawing a bold new line for the modern monarchy. Behind closed doors, William had quietly endured Meghan's media attacks for several years. That is 35 billion lifetimes worth of hope, love, fear, and dreams. But the final breaking point, according to palace insiders, was not actually something Meghan said. It was actually Harry's total silence. After multiple highly public claims from Meghan accusing the palace of racism, elitism, and deep emotional abuse, Harry said nothing in public while privately supporting her statements. William reportedly reached out to him in early October with an incredibly strong message. "You know, this is not true. You lived through it. You know Catherine has never acted with cruelty, so why will you not speak up?" Harry's reply, according to a palace aide, was chilling, because telling the truth means I lose everything. To William, that crossed the absolute final line. He is not just protecting her anymore, the aide said. He is actively supporting her. Royal watchers say this was the exact moment William shifted from patience to direct, open confrontation. One of the most painful parts of this growing royal divide centred directly on the young children Archie and Lily. During his official public statement, William firmly insisted the Crown would never strip the children of their rights or dignity. But he also delivered a powerful, chilling line that completely stunned the public, stating that if staying quiet harms the emotional well-being of children, then this silence must end. Insiders confirmed that the palace even explored possible legal ways to protect the children if Meghan and Harry's public battles became too unstable or dangerous. Ultimately, no legal action was taken, but the clear message to the Sussexes was completely unmistakable. No, it was absolutely fantastic. It was indeed absolutely amazing to get to know her as quickly as I did, but those children are definitely not bargaining tools. Catherine later told a senior aide, "We will not let those young children become characters in a dramatic play written for California audiences." Another unexpected twist came when William publicly mentioned Sarah Ferguson's role in supporting Meghan. Sources claimed Meghan and Fergie had secretly reconnected in early 2025 at a charity event in Monaco. Over the next few months, Fergie, feeling cast aside by Charles, started offering emotional support to Meghan and listening to all her deep frustrations about Catherine and the royal family. However, William's team discovered encrypted chat messages between Meghan and Fergie, allegedly planning a calculated media strategy to damage Catherine's public image during her recovery from illness. But how did Meghan respond to the situation? Let's take a closer look as Meghan breaks. Her silence after that dramatic royal fallout. For the first time in decades, the monarchy is not retreating quietly into the dark shadows. Instead, they are drawing unmistakable lines in stone. These lines are etched with absolute clarity, coming just 72 hours after Prince William's explosive announcement shook the royal world to its core. A brand new storm was forming. This one did not rise from Windsor Castle, but from the glittering hills of Monteito, California, at exactly 8:01 a.m. Pacific time, a meticulously planned media operation erupted simultaneously across both Los Angeles and New York. With front-page leaks, anonymous insider claims, and a sudden flurry of calls, Meghan Markle's public relations team directly targeted Netflix, Spotify, and multiple major Hollywood trade outlets. Their headline was perfectly synchronized. Exclusive Meghan breaks her silence after the royal fallout. Yet Meghan herself did not appear in person, not quite yet. This was a carefully curated soft launch retaliation designed to completely control the narrative without fully stepping back into the public spotlight. There was a huge media frenzy happening, and it almost felt like all the things they were nervous about were finally getting out. Sources within several major entertainment agencies confirmed that Meghan's team had actually been preparing for this moment for months. The overall strategy mirrored a classic celebrity crisis recovery playbook: deflect, reframe, hint, and monetize. Phase 1 focused heavily on victimhood and resilience. Friendly journalists received pre-cleared talking points through intermediaries. Meghan felt that she was never fully accepted by the Windsor family. Behind the scenes, she faced immense emotional cruelty, particularly during her second pregnancy. All her mental health struggles were completely dismissed, and her ideas were repeatedly minimized. Phase 2 revolved around reinvention and empowerment. Meghan's team highlighted all her next venture's wellness investments, a brand new children's book, and a potential series about healing generational trauma. The message was completely unmistakable. She does not need the crown. She is busy building her own legacy. Meanwhile, Phase 3 anchored the story in her young children. The most attention-grabbing detail came from a close friend, quoted in Variety. All Meghan really wants is to raise her children in peace. But when the royal institution attacks, her absolute instinct is to protect them just like any mother would. In under 36 hours, Kensington Palace hit back with a remarkably sharp public statement. The Crown completely rejected any idea that calculated provocation could somehow be twisted into victimhood. They stated they would not comment further on speculative gossip pushed solely for commercial profit. But this royal retaliation did not just end with words. Prince William personally ordered his lawyers to take the first steps towards stripping their titles. A secret royal decree was sent straight to the Privy Council for urgent review, making the demand crystal clear. Strip the Duke and Duchess of Sussex of every single royal title. Meanwhile, issue a strict order to British embassies globally to stop treating Harry and Meghan as working royals. Freeze their royal estate privileges, official ceremonial listings, and diplomatic access. This was far more than simple palace annoyance. It was a complete constitutional divorce executed flawlessly in a world where ancient monarchy collides with Hollywood media spectacle. Outside the gates, public reaction was deeply split. Streaming executives privately admitted that audiences are finally getting tired of royal drama. An industry insider who negotiated with Meghan's team back in 2023 remarked, "You can only burn the same bridge so many times before people stop cheering. This constant drama sells tabloids, but it absolutely destroys long-term trust." Others were far more brutal. William holds the power of a global institution. Meghan has Instagram and Oprah. There is just no comparing their weight. Still, not everyone turned their backs. A massive publisher in New York is fast-tracking Meghan's tell-all memoir, while a top podcast network has reopened negotiations for a series featuring her side of the royal drama. The message is loud and clear. This media war is just getting started. Over in London, King Charles and Princess Catherine stayed completely silent, but that quietness was highly calculated. Palace sources confirmed that Charles gave William full authority to act for the Crown regarding everything Sussex-related. But how exactly does this ongoing storm affect Princess Catherine? Let's look closer. Meanwhile, Princess Catherine has made her return to public life, showing a quiet, undeniable strength. Barely 3 days after Meghan's explosive Hollywood leaks, Catherine stepped out at an Oxford Children's Cancer Clinic, looking incredibly calm and composed. Onlookers quickly noticed her grace, her classic elegance, and one very deliberate fashion choice, a small brooch shaped like a ship's anchor. Royal-style experts labelled the piece a quiet symbol of stability during a storm. During the visit, a sweet child asked Catherine if she was feeling okay, clearly knowing about the media gossip around her health. Her answer was simple yet deeply touching. "I am doing very well, thank you. We all need to find strength sometimes, don't we?" Those simple 7 words quickly went viral, with many viewing them as a gentle reply to Meghan's public claims of despair. But the most devastating warning from the palace was not meant for Meghan. It was targeted straight at Prince Harry. A secret memo leaked to the Times shared Prince William's private thoughts. "We can tolerate grief and we can handle disagreements, but we can never tolerate betrayal, not after everything we have been through." In a message to his top team, William made his stance incredibly clear. "Harry is my brother, but I cannot let him exploit our name while attacking the royal family. That time is over. Sources now warn that this is Harry's absolute final warning. If he keeps going along with Meghan's aggressive PR moves, he risks losing all formal recognition titles and ceremonial perks, and worst of all, any future role in historic family events. As one palace insider put it, he has to choose between the drama and the dynasty. With William delivering one of the sharpest takedowns in modern royal history, everyone is watching the woman standing right beside him, Princess Catherine. She is no longer just a supportive wife or duchess. She has stepped into a major role of moral leadership once carried by Queen Elizabeth herself, and she managed it without saying a single word. Her first public outing after William's big statement was carefully planned. She arrived at the street, Bartholomew's Foundation Gala, in a simple cream gown. No flashy tiara, no dramatic grand entrance, just a single white poppy pinned to her dress. The message was obvious: peace, remembrance, and absolute control. Despite endless media drama, constant comparisons, and fresh attacks from Meghan's Hollywood friends, Catherine remained incredibly calm, graceful, and completely focused. A royal journalist remarked that the room went quiet the second she walked in. Not because she felt distant, but because her poised energy brought instant clarity and peace. Palace insiders quietly admit that the past 6 months have been incredibly hard on Catherine. Between raising her kids, helping King Charles through his cancer battle, and handling a massive royal schedule that has practically doubled, she had zero time for self-pity, let alone fighting back. Yet, when asked privately about Meghan's claims of bullying and favouritism inside the family, Catherine gave an answer that shocked her staff. "I forgive her, but I will not carry her pain as my fault," according to a leak to the Telegraph. This reply was not just a denial, but a firm refusal to be emotionally manipulated. It represents the bold new strategy that William and Catherine are now leading: honesty without cruelty. They know the love we receive in our youngest years deeply shapes who we eventually become, reacting without the drama and choosing duty over distraction. While King Charles is still the official monarch, it is Catherine and William who hold the real emotional power of the crown. Whenever King Charles struggles with health or approval, Catherine steps right into the massive void left by Queen Elizabeth, feeling steady, maternal, and completely unshaken. A royal historian remarked, "In a world built on symbols, Catherine has become the brand new anchor. She did not even need a throne," and the public absolutely agrees. Recent polling from the Times and YouGov shows that over 76% of British citizens view Catherine as the most trusted living royal, far outranking Charles William and other family members. So, what other drastic step did William take? Let's take a closer look. Prince William's ultimate move. During a private closed-door meeting at Kensington Palace, the future king made a final, permanent decision. Starting today, he began, the royal family will formally and permanently cut all ties with Meghan Markle. Starting right now, we will absolutely not respond to support or acknowledge any press statements or public comments made by her or her team under the banner of royal status. This was a sharp line drawn in the sand, and for the very first time it directly targeted his own brother. Behind this painful decision was a completely broken bond, a relationship that used to be filled with laughter, rugby games, and wedding toasts. But Prince William, ever patient and practical, had been watching closely from the background as the Sussex brand slowly changed from misunderstood outsiders into hostile, aggressive disruptors. You will likely hear this all week, and honestly, as we just heard, you are bound to hear rumours. The final straw came when leaked production notes and insider secrets exposed Meghan's plans to pitch a highly controversial docu-series to Netflix. In this show, she planned to showcase royal parenting by directly comparing her motherhood journey with Catherine's, hinting at clear favouritism, emotional neglect, and deep-seated institutional racism. What truly infuriated William was Meghan's secret partnership with Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, who had been cast out by top royals years ago. Sources claim that Ferguson was playing the role of a strategic mentor to Meghan, leveraging old, bitter grudges to spark fresh media attacks aimed squarely at Catherine. William reportedly snapped that it was not a simple PR campaign, it was outright warfare. Then came what palace sources called a total betrayal. During a major speech in Hollywood, Harry openly attacked the royal family for emotional cruelty and boldly called out William by name. Even worse, he alleged that William ignored Meghan's mental health struggles, a claim that insiders stress is completely untrue, pointing to the private medical care Meghan got through palace resources in early 2019. William did not react with anger, but with a cold, calculated detachment. "If Harry chooses a path of lies, I mourn that decision," he reportedly said, "but I will not keep walking behind him to sweep up his mess." Yet the real shock came when William brought up Archie and Lilibet. Dropping a statement that absolutely shocked even his own closest team, he said, "If the atmosphere those kids are raised in becomes completely toxic, the royal family will step in to offer protection, not as a political move, but as our duty to two innocent children born into chaos." While this warning was mostly symbolic and impossible to enforce overseas, it struck like a heavy moral blow. William basically accused the couple of using their kids for public sympathy while dragging them through constant scandals. I really want to share some thoughts about my father and explain exactly why this upcoming weekend matters so much. Constant media games and shifting stories. He pointed to specific examples like withholding baby photos unless journalists used approved phrasing and messy conflicting stories about private christening invites. Then there was the hijacking of Lilibet's name, which deeply wounded Queen Elizabeth during her final days, and even Hollywood scripts pitched to producers that explicitly named the children. William's quiet anger was incredibly intense. He noted that they lost their mother to a toxic world of flashing lights and half-truths. He made it clear he won't let another generation of innocent children grow up burdened by their parents' trauma. To drive his point home, William pointed to how the family handled Prince Andrew, his disgraced uncle, who lost his titles after major scandals. This royal institution will not reward disgraceful behaviour with ongoing perks and privileges. Whether that shame is financial or emotional, highly public or strictly private, the rule stands. No one uses this crown for personal gain without facing consequences. With those words, William officially started stripping their honours. Meghan's remaining patronages were suspended, and the Sussex brand was completely wiped from all official royal pamphlets and event brochures. Even Harry's final 2 honorary military connections, which were purely ceremonial, were put under immediate review and will likely be taken away. On top of that, he quietly asked major Hollywood agencies to ban the word royal when marketing the couple unless they have direct legal permission from Buckingham Palace. King Charles, currently resting after his latest medical treatments, stayed silent publicly, but insiders confirm he gave his full, quiet backing to the decision, realising that the firm had to act immediately to save itself from total self-destruction. What serious battles did the British royals actually face? Let's dive in. These are the hidden battles of the royal family. For the past 5 years, the palace has fought to stay relevant and dignified in a world ruled by social media influencers and emotional clickbait. From the shocking Oprah Winfrey interview in 2021 to Harry's latest speech at the Hollywood Gala, the palace always seemed to react instead of taking control. But everything shifted completely the moment King Charles handed Prince William total control over how the palace responds to Meghan Markle. This was purely about defending the crown, explains Sir Thomas Redgrave, a former palace press secretary. But even more than that, it sent an unmistakable, powerful message. The royal family will no longer tolerate their image being hijacked, manipulated, or dragged through the mud. William's sharp, direct words showed a hard shift from polite diplomacy to strict boundaries. He focused heavily on core values like personal responsibility and earned respect. There is zero confusion now about who speaks for the crown, no more letting wild rumours slide, and absolutely no more letting bitter family drama damage the stability of the entire monarchy. Although Catherine was not directly named in William's briefing, her silent dedication was impossible to ignore, like someone quietly funneling every penny of their campus job earnings straight toward their tuition. Over and over, Meghan's public gripes and private complaints directly compared herself to the Princess of Wales. There were endless claims of favouritism, rumours of bitter rivalry, and cold shoulders behind palace doors. Yet Catherine chose never to respond publicly, even when blamed for petty drama like tears over flower girl dresses or imaginary snubs at major royal gatherings. Kensington insiders insist her silence was definitely not a sign of weakness. She was protecting her kids, defending the crown, and supporting a husband torn between family and duty. You simply do not build a future monarchy on noisy drama, one insider noted. You build it on consistency. Catherine has been the most reliable and steady figure since Queen Elizabeth herself. Her major step-up in official duties, including taking over high-profile patronages, once held by the late Queen, signals that she is not just surviving, but rapidly growing her influence. Today her name stands for deep trust, discipline, and global respect, fueled by her poise at the Vatican summit and her international health campaigns. This sharp contrast between quiet service and manufactured drama is exactly what William wanted to highlight. His strong words also served as a stern warning to giant media corporations. Nobody gets to exploit the royal brand for massive profit without explicit permission. Royal titles come with real responsibility. This served as a direct warning to Netflix, Spotify, Penguin Random House, and big brands cashing in on the Sussexes while ignoring the crown. Prince William is setting a brand new standard. If you cash in on royalty, you play by the rules or lose your status entirely. But the most sensitive part of William's warning was his sudden plea to protect young Archie and Lilibet. There are no lawsuits yet, but he made it clear he stands ready to give those kids a safe, stable and structured royal upbringing if things fall apart. Some critics view this as a quiet custody threat, while others call it a shield. But royal historian Dr. Eleanor Barnett reads between the lines differently. This was an olive branch extended directly to the next generation. Prince William is not trying to snatch the kids away from their parents. He is offering them a choice if they grow up hating the fame forced on them. So, what is your take on Prince William's massive bombshell? Drop your thoughts down in the comments section below. Do not forget to like and subscribe.